know who we are. You know who we are. We are QPR.
Welcome to our QPR Preview Show ahead of the home match against Bristol City. And the mood around the club has finally lifted. We've had 7 games without a win, but we finally got that elusive win to nudge us to the verge of safety. It got a bit nervy against Oxford when they got one back, but we got over the line with a 3-1 win. Have you stopped sweating yet, Dave?
No, that was a long second half, wasn't it? I mean, blimey. I thought he was going to play all night at one point, but yeah, I mean, it was just such a relief to get that win, and it's been so long. I say 7 games. They looked so comfortable a couple of months ago, and we were right under pressure tonight going into that game. If we'd lost that, I mean, we were banging it, weren't we? We were in desperate trouble, but just to get that win, it's such a relief, and I thought it was deserved as well. I thought really good performance from them tonight. They did everything we spoke about last week when we said about how they just lacked intensity. There was a lack of work rate and effort and everything at the Stoke game the other week. Complete opposite tonight. They were bang on it from the first minute, well organised. Set pieces were really good. They fully deserved the win. Like you say, made hard work of it the second half, but fully deserved that.
Yeah, it's just frustrating again for us to say that intensity, tempo, desire from the kickoff. Why do we not get that every single away game? And considering we'd lost the last 6 away games and we had no recognised striker to start with, I think most of us would have been relatively happy before the game with a draw. So to get a win, it was brilliant. But if we'd let it slip from being 2-0 up, I dread to think what the mood around the club would have been. And obviously the third goal coming when the guy had just put up that there was 11 minutes added time, I think it couldn't have come at a better moment, saved us all a lot more tension. And it has been the big talking point leading up to the game that we had no recognised striker fit enough to start. We all said that Marty surely had to try something different, and he did. There was a bit of rotation through the game, but Daniel Benny largely was leading the line on his first start for QPR. Nicholas Madsen was over on the left. How did they both do for you?
Yeah, it was much better when we've had this in recent away games. Stoke and West Brom, they've tried it with one of the little guys up front with Smith or Dembele, and it hasn't really worked. There seemed to be a clear game plan this time. Thought Benny played really well, but they had Field getting right up close to him. They can with the extra midfield player, they controlled the ball a lot better. I thought it was probably Madsen's best game for us, especially first half. Used the ball really well, and they utilised the set pieces well. That was probably going to be our best chance to score a goal. We didn't particularly like scoring from open play until the end, but they did it well. Every set piece we looked a threat, and the game plan definitely worked. You can tell from the Stoke game how angry Cifuentes was, and with himself as well. He said he set the team up wrong, and he's obviously planned this is what he'd do if this happened again, and it's obviously happened again quite quickly. I thought he was really good. You couldn't really fault anyone tonight. It was a really good performance.
Yeah, it was one of the biggest adjustments, the fact that Sam Field was playing higher up. Usually when it's Varane, Colback and Field, it's Colback who's higher pressing up, but Sam Field was superb. And Daniel Benny, he was tireless. Reminded me a little bit of
Yeah.
Paul Smith running around, considering what we were asking of him to go up there up front against the team. On his first start, he did well. Nicholas Madsen, he started well, didn't he? He had a few nice link-ups in the opening minutes, a few nice touches, obviously got the assist on the first goal. And you could see he had more confidence, and it was a better performance for him. I know some fans are just going to hate him now no matter what he does, but
Mm.
for me, he was okay. Yes, fair enough. He did struggle a little bit more as the second half went on, but he was out of energy because he had ran around about as much as he could. And you mentioned the set pieces, and it wasn't quite Jamie Pollock or Chris Carr levels of helping us along, but Jamie Cumming, the Oxford keeper, he sure helped us with those first 2 goals, didn't he?
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing for the first one. That's a really straightforward save, isn't it? And he's let that in, and that just give us the initiative. Then once we got that goal, we had something to hold on to and something to build on. And the second goal, I thought he could have done a lot better with it as well. But we'll take that. We needed it, didn't we? We say we've been such a bad run, and you look at the injury list. Even tonight, they've lost 2, 3 players again injured. They're maybe done for the season. A couple of them. They needed a bit of luck, and thankfully we got it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the goalkeeper, the second one in particular for me was bad as well because if that was our goalkeeper, the ball lands like literally 2 yards off his goal line and he's not come to claim it. So he helped us, and there's just no doubting how much of an important win it is. And you could see it because we had Marty Cifuentes and Xavi Khan running down the touch line to celebrate with Yang after he got the third goal. It's just a massive win. They know it, don't they?
Yeah, you saw his reaction at the end of the game, Cifuentes as well. He was going berserk with the fans. You don't normally see him do that. Yeah, it was massive. You look at the position we were in; it was only 4 points clear going into the game tonight. And you look at the games left; we've got Burnley and Sunderland to come. Doubt you're going to get much of that. We're coming to Bristol City, but they're banging form. They had to get something. They had to win one of these last two games, and thankfully they've done it. And I don't think we're 100% safe yet. I think they probably still need a few more points, but they can breathe a lot easier now. And there's a lot of teams between us and the bottom three now.
Yeah, I think it's the amount of teams between us that's almost as important as the points. QPR now on 49 points, 7 points above the bottom three. But when you look at the goal difference of the bottom three, it's almost 8 points ahead
Yeah.
that we are. Only 5 games left. It's not job done, but like I say, you could see how much of a big 3 points it was from the reaction of Marty and Xavi. We published an interview with Paul Smith that was recorded on Tuesday, and he acknowledged the frustration, but I thought he came across really positive in the interview. He said something like, "We always sort it out," and he didn't appear to me like he was nervous or like there was any doubt in the camp that we wouldn't get the results that we needed. And ultimately, he was right straight away. And like you said, Marty he was running down touchline, pumping his chest at the end of the game. But there was a lot of fans on our last few videos and across social media. I've noticed commenting that they think Marty will leave in the summer. What do you think all that is founded on?
I think I'm probably among them that think he might well leave this summer. I just think he just seems very frustrated with it all at the minute. Um, whether it's just because of the injuries and we've lost a few games, maybe it's because of that. But I just don't think it's kind of. I'm not sure he gets on that well with Nuri at the minute. It doesn't seem to be a relationship that works that well. All season it seemed odd that they won't allow him at the fans forum. They've done this ex new fans forum where they're going to do it behind closed doors, and you have to send in questions 3 weeks before. It just all seems a little bit odd for someone that popular. You just think put him out in front of us and let him talk to us. I just get the feeling that there'll be a mutual part in the ways in the summer. I think he might go to another championship team. To be honest, I think he might just move on to another job, and we'll get compensation. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope everyone else saying this is wrong and that he stays because I think he's great. I mean, he's done a fantastic job. But yeah, I think we are coming. It feels a bit like the Mark Warburton's last season. It feels like there's been a falling out behind the scenes, and you're going to hear about it in the months to come. And I think he might be on his way in the summer.
Yeah, all we can hope, like you said yourself, is that it's not the case. I see some fans saying that he's checked out. I personally don't get that vibe,
No, I
especially
don't
after
think
his
he has.
reaction at the end against Oxford. I think he is having to bite his tongue and like he's holding in anger, frustration about the injuries in particular, but like you say, about other things maybe going on behind the scenes, which he alluded to a few weeks ago. Hopefully, we can, as a club, just get over the line, reset, and let's hope he is very much still here and motivated next season. Let's have a look at Bristol City then. Ominous opposition, we'll have to say straight away. And it's a bit of an odd matchup where the home side literally never seems to win. And obviously, this is at Loftus Road. In the last 10 meetings, there's been no home win. We have to go back to 2016 for the last time QPR won a league match at home to Bristol City. Idrissa Silla scored the winner there, which shows you how long ago that was. There have been 7 league meetings at Loftus Road since, and Bristol City have always gone home with something. And now they come into this match after back-to-back wins. They're up to 5th, and they were beating West Brom, which give them a cushion of 6 points over West Brom, who were down in 8th. Did you see this coming from Bristol City?
I thought they'd go quite close this year at the start of the season, anyway. But it's only really been the last 2 months they've kind of kicked into gear, haven't they? They've got a lot of quality in their team, and you think the form they're in at the minute, you think they've got a great chance of making the playoffs. It's quite open for those last two places, isn't it? I think the Coventry win tonight, they did, didn't they?
Yep.
So they've kind of narrowed the gap again a little bit, but they've put themselves in a good position, and they've got a lot of good players. They've been building a decent side the last couple of years, so they've got as good a chance as anyone of making the playoffs this year.
Yeah, they are. They're a good side. They always recruit well. Always a lot of players to admire. I always think whenever I watch them, like Knight, Earthy, Bell, that's just a few of them. And I didn't see this coming though, them being as high up as 5th. I looked back in our forum predictor table at the start of the season, had them 11th. So I think most of us expected them to fall short. So credit to them for being well in the mix. And they're going to be travelling to London on the crest of a wave. It was a 96-minute winner against West Brom. They're full of togetherness, confidence. I mean, the fans, the players all celebrating together. Saw a video of their winner, and there was the bench, the subs, the manager. Everyone was all like running down the touchline, a bit like QPR to be honest, but doesn't feel like the right time to be playing Bristol City, does it?
No, I think it's a good job we got these 3 pointers tonight, to be honest, before that one. Um, no, it's not a great time for us to play them, but it's a challenge for us. And that win against Oxford for us takes the pressure off a little bit on this game. It's probably not a win game now. It would be nice to win the game, but take the pressure be off a little bit on us, and hopefully we give them a good game. The games against them are normally quite tight, and you'd think they've got the quality to beat us, and they're really chasing something down. They're chasing the playoffs, and So I always think once we look like we've achieved something, we kind of ease off, and then we go back to being rubbish again. So hopefully we won't do that, but. Yeah, probably not an ideal time to play a team in this sort of form.
Yeah, definitely not. I think they're both in form and they've got something to play for. Maybe they'll be a little bit edgy and nervous, but they've only lost one of the last 10 games, and that was away at Burnley. So very, very good form. A lot of draws away from home for them, admittedly. They've only won 4 of 20 away games. But like I said, they always seem to go away from Losses Road with something. And we have to acknowledge that up front, they've got former QPR strikers Naki Wells and Sinclair Armstrong rotating in a top 6 side, whilst we haven't even got a fit striker. That stings a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, just a little bit, doesn't it? We obviously Armstrong went last summer. I mean, he hasn't been amazing for him, but he's better than any of the options we've got really at the minute. But I quite liked Armstrong when he's here, and Naki Wells as well. I'm quite pleased to see him doing well. It'd be great if they got up and got a chance in the Premier League, but hopefully they don't score on Saturday.
Yeah, Naki Wells, he scored on each of his last 3 starts. And he always comes across to me like one of those players who could probably play when he's like 45, because if the ball
Yeah.
drops to him in the 6-yard box or 18-yard box, he's going to score, isn't he? Alarm bells with his recent form. And then Sinclair Armstrong, he hasn't actually scored in his last 16 appearances. His last goal was
God.
back in November. So, yeah, I think we all know how that story ends on Saturday. As for QPR, it's the walking wounded as usual, and on top of an already endless list, Sam Field, as we said, superb against Oxford, but it looks like he's aggravated that ankle injury, doesn't it?
Yeah, it did. I mean, I looked at it because we made the extra sub. I think he went off for I don't know if it was for a concussion or because their player had a concussion. It wasn't really clear, but he did look like he was struggling, and we will miss him. He makes such a difference to the team. The hour or so he was on the pitch, we were so good, and as soon as he went off, it kind of all fell apart. And yeah, if he's going to be out, we will miss him. But I imagine he probably will be. We miss out this one. It's a quick turnaround, and we got 2 games again next week, so he'll be a big miss at the weekend.
Yeah, it's no coincidence that he's come back into the side and we get 4 points from 6. So we have to hope it's not the same injury, or that will be his
Yeah.
season over. Kenneth Powell also clearly struggling, came off against Stoke a few weeks ago, and again he's come off against Oxford. Paul Smith was suffering with cramp. So if we start in the defence, do you think it'll be Morgan Fox at left back if Kenneth Powell doesn't make it?
Yeah, I think Fox will come in. Yeah, he looked like he'd done his hamstring when he went off. So again, a quick turnaround. I'm not sure he'll be fit for the weekend. So yeah, Fox seems the obvious choice to come in. He did okay when he come on. So I think he'll probably start there. The only other option really is play Ashby at left back, which he did earlier in the season. But I think Fox gives you a bit more balance left footed, and he's going to want experience, for these sort of games.
Yeah, I think with the quick turnaround, Pal, it'll be. I can't see him making it. So yeah, I'd go with Morgan Fox probably as well. And if Field can't make it, it'll be Ran and Colback. Surely has to go again in midfield, but that's asking a lot of Jack Colback. Then it's a question of who plays behind the striker. Incredibly glad to have Koki Saito back. No question is there that he walks back into the side.
Oh yeah, he'll definitely start. I mean, you put him straight in on the left, and you um, assume Smith will be okay. He seems to go off most weeks. Then he runs himself into the ground and goes off. So I imagine them two will start, and then it's take your pick who you play in the 10. Whether you bring Morgan back in, maybe give Madsen another run. I thought so he did okay first half today. Um, yeah, they've got options for that position. I think we're going to be significantly weaker without Sam Field, Dad, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I think he will go with Paul Smith, Saito. Bit of a question mark, I guess, in the middle. Anderson, then Bailey, Madsen, any of them could probably go in there and do a job. And I same before, it's behind the striker because again, we don't know if it'll be a striker. Do you think he'll go with Daniel Benny again?
He may do. I think from what he was saying before the game, he didn't want to rush Ryan Coley back. He's obviously been out a while. He doesn't want him to break down again. You saw it with Alfie Lloyd. He was obviously rushed back and then he broke down halfway through the game. So I wonder, yeah, with winning this, maybe he will go with Benny again up front, and then you've got Coley to come off the bench second half if needed.
Yeah, I think he may even look at it and think the matches against Preston and Swansea are maybe ones we've got a
Yeah.
chance of getting something from. He may save Field if it's just a knock for them. And same with Ryan Coley, because he's clearly not fit enough because he wasn't even brought on against Oxford when we were starting to struggle in the second half. Also, Yang, he's done better off the bench against Stoke and Oxford. We know Bristol City will need us to be like diligent defensively, so I think Yang will be again an impact sub. And I wanted to finish with mentioning Liam Morrison. 11 starts now, 11 games unbeaten for him when he started. Not a lot to say, really. That speaks for itself, doesn't it?
Yeah, he's been superb, a real positive this season. If only if we could keep him fit and he played all the time, where would we be? But yeah, he was really good in both games this week. Well, he was really good against Cardiff as well, and excellent tonight. And hopefully he can keep going for us.
Yeah, I mean, we've got to hope he can keep fit, but also hope maybe we could keep Ronnie Edwards with him next season because that would be
Oh
brilliant.
yeah,
To watch those two next to one another. I used to play centre half, so I really enjoyed watching those two the last two games. Very assured, and like you say, just have to maybe hope just for Morrison personally that he can put his injury issues behind him, ready for next season because he could be a massive player for us, and he'd probably be on the radar of other clubs if he can stay fit. Predictions then for Bristol City. What do you reckon?
yeah. I think with the players that got knocks tonight, it would be nice to build on what we've just done against Oxford, but. With those players that are probably going to be missing, I think Bristol City will edge it. They're informed. I mean, they're a better side than us as well, which helps them. I think they'll just edge it. It'd be a close game, I think, but yeah, I think it'd be an away win. Yeah, maybe 2-1, 3-1, something like that.
Yeah, I just think this season we're generally struggling against the teams who are up in the top six, and I wonder if it's taken a lot out of us winning that game against Oxford. Like you say, not only with players but mentally as well. Also got a day less to prepare than Bristol City. I have a feeling it's going to be a little bit of a after the Lord Mayor show, so to speak. And yeah, I'd go for 2-1 Bristol City as well, and just hoping that the other results don't go too much against us and we keep that nice little cushion. We'll be back next week to preview the Good Friday trip to Preston, and that's followed up quickly by an Easter Monday home match against Swansea. Check out that Paul Smith interview if you can. You probably see why he gets cramp. He says he's been sick before every game and all sorts. So have a little watch of that. And until next time, come on, you R's.